Welcome back for another week. This is our week 8 preview of the Ruffled Feathers show, joined, of course, by my good friend and part-time lover, BJ from the Griddle. How you doing tonight, BJ?
I'm doing all right. We're gonna work on your intro for me. We gotta work on your intro.
Uh,
I'd like to be known as the 2014 to 2016 back-to-back band manager of the year in the state of Mississippi.
is
BJ
that
from
true?
the
Is that
Griddle.
true? Is that true? Is that a
Yes.
true?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness! You sleep with
Yes.
a guy. You sleep with a guy. You never really know who he is. You know what I mean? It's
I
crazy.
gave up. I gave up a tryout for that JUCO team for the football team because all right, story time. All right, fuck it. This
All right, break it
podcast
down.
has
Break it down.
gone to
Yep.
shit. This podcast has gone to shit. All right, so there I was in the college gym working out. Had 405 on the squat rack, repped it out 15 times. And the college coach and his starting running back walked up to me and was like, "Hey, we got tryouts next week. Why don't you come? We need some offensive linemen."
There you go.
And so I was like, I need to discuss it with my people. My people being the band director I was working underneath. I was band manager. Yep, after high school. They
Okay.
paid the same amount of, they covered the same amount of tuition
Well, there you go.
as as a football one.
You
As
didn't
a
get
band
hit.
manager, I got the same scholarship as everybody else who had a scholarship.
All
And
right.
all I had to
All
do
right.
was drive a golf cart and move music equipment around and drink on the sideline during the football game.
That's the dream, honestly.
And so I went to the band director and I was like, "Hey, the football coach wants me to try out, and I kind of love football, so I'm thinking about it." He was like, "Look, if it's an object about money and tuition, I'll give you another scholarship to stay as my band manager." I was that good of a band manager. He said, I'm
Dude,
the only band manager he's ever had that he never had to worry about anything. He knew it was taken care of.
the GOAT. You were the
So
GOAT band manager.
I got more money and more scholarships for
Holy
not going to a football
shit.
team.
That's crazy.
I'm kind of a big deal when it comes to the college band
Especially early 2000s, it sounds like. Especially early
early.
2000s.
Well, I mean, we're
2004,
still in the early
2005.
no, 2014,
Oh,
2016.
I think it's 2004, 2005. I said, no, I think that those numbers weren't mathing for me in my head. Okay.
I'm 30 years old. I'm not 50.
I know.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Hey, fuck me. Come on. Lacey. All right. Fuck this up. All
Speaking
right.
of college, there
Let's
is
talk
a
about
hot
college.
topic going on.
All right.
Right
Just
off
so
the
everybody
grill.
knows. Just so everybody knows. Just so everybody knows. I know nothing about this topic. He mentioned this as we're getting the sound checks and everything. So this is fresh Band-Aid, ripping it off. Let's see what you got, Big Daddy.
Hot off the griddle. There has been some accusations going on at the University of Michigan for sign stealing, but it goes deeper than that. It goes
Okay.
way deeper than that.
We're going that
Give me
rabbit
one
hole.
second. Pulling up a video right now. We're pulling up the video. Oh, fuck. Hold on. I got to mute myself. I also got your stream up. It's messing things up. All right. We're sharing screen. Are you ready for this? You also got to
I'm
tell me
ready.
if you can hear it or not. All right.
All right, I'm clicking on it, and let me make sure I got the volume up for it. Sound check. Go ahead and start it real quick.
The more and more information we get on this mission,
We got it. We got it. All right.
I'll turn it up a little bit. All right.
All right, I'm ready.
shooting scandal, the deeper and deeper it gets. We now have information that suggests that Michigan was not only using the signs that they stole for themselves, but they were giving them to other teams to help them beat teams that they didn't want to play in the college football playoff. Thanks to a report from Football Scoop, explosive, potentially damning new report exposes Michigan football's alleged travel plans, computer evidence, and sign-stealing Spygate scheme. Within the article, it is said that, moreover, a source with direct knowledge indicated to Football Scoop that Michigan may have attempted to assist the opposition of a potential college football opponent in an effort to disrupt that team's potential path to the playoff. Translation: Michigan scouted a team and said, "Oh, we're going to have some trouble with them." So they stole the signs of that team's plays and sent it to their upcoming opposition. Thanks to some journalism by me and some sources that reached out, we have to look no further than the Tennessee-South Carolina game in the second to last week in November. Tennessee's path to the college football playoff at this point was essentially to win out. South Carolina, the week before they played Tennessee, scored just 6 points. They then scored 63 against Tennessee.
Let's keep in mind Florida beat Tennessee earlier in the year.
Gotcha.
So this makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. I'm going to let it cook.
All right.
Now, what does this all mean? Here's a recap from Austin B on Twitter, Austin_Vols. So Connor Stalions filmed Tennessee and Clemson's sidelines for calls in the weeks before Tennessee played South Carolina. South Carolina then becomes unstoppable and wins versus Tennessee and Clemson. Throughout his entire season, he pretty much didn't go above 212 yards. He had one really good game against Arkansas, and that was it. Then suddenly, two of the hardest teams he played in the season. He goes for 438 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 360 yards, 2 touchdowns. Some other evidence that suggests that South Carolina may have benefited from this. Shane Beamer was fined $25,000 for accepting elite game plans back in 2010s. Reports say that Michigan may have leaked their information to another team to help their playoff chances. And on top of it, South Carolina's defensive coordinator was Harbaugh's DB coach in 2009. And the most damning evidence, South Carolina's whole defense wore wristbands for the Tennessee game, the only game they did that all year. We have no direct evidence that this is true. The more and more we learn about the situation, the more and more it's easy to believe that this wasn't just Connor Stalions running a simple little operation just to benefit him in Michigan. No, he was running this on a grand scale. He helped other teams beat teams that he thought Michigan shouldn't play. And if that's true, this becomes quickly one of the biggest scandals in the history of college football. Buckle up, because this is going to continue to get more and more juicy. The more.
Okay.
There we go. There we go, dude.
Okay. All right.
And that was crazy. I need your thoughts.
The part where I think it's absolutely crossing the line is when you're giving it to other teams, just so they'll beat the team, so you don't have to play.
You know,
them.
they're selling them. They're selling those. They're selling
that for me is the part where I think it's crossing the line. Like, I'll be honest with you, Beef. If someone wants to use the same signals over and over again, eventually they're going to get stolen. But you keep that information to yourself so you can beat that team. You don't give it to someone else so you have to play them in the playoffs. That's where I consider it to be cheating. I mean, everybody has tape
coming up, but this was like last year, the year before last. This isn't its current year.
Gosh,
but
okay,
who
so
knows? It's still probably going on. It's still going.
Well,
it has to be going on.
I guarantee you, it's probably not now. As soon as that story leaked, I'm sure they probably shut that shit down so that they can't continue to do it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the reason that's why the NFL has no signals, right? They have the helmet, they have the microphone in the helmet. That's why they do that, so you can't steal signals. I don't get why the college football.
Should they do that in college?
Why shouldn't they? Why is it that college just has to be different for the sake of being different? We have technology out there. It's not that hard to use. It's a simple microphone and a helmet. It prepares these kids to go to the NFL if they use it. And B, it's like they want to be different just for the sake of being different, and this is what happens. You have a barbaric
I don't actually
team.
know if they can't do that. I don't know if it's in a rule somewhere that they can't.
If it's a rule, it's a stupid rule. I'm sorry, it's a stupid rule. Like, if you're trying, if the whole point of college, and this is the problem I have, it's like the whole point of college football is for their best players to be prepared to go to the NFL. That's the main goal. If the top 10 players in your team are NFL prospect ready, they should be ready to go. They shouldn't have a hard transition from the college to the NFL. So if you're making rules that you can't wear a helmet when the entire NFL, you can't use a microphone and a helmet, when the entire NFL's doing it as just, hey, that's just business as usual, I think that's stupid. I think it's absolutely stupid. And they deserve stupid shit like this to happen to them if they're not going to adapt. It's not hard. If you're using the same signals, it doesn't matter if I record you on the sideline or I just have some guy paying attention. I'll pick it up eventually if you're using the same damn signals. You know what I mean? Baker Mayfield admitted that he used to do it all the time, if I'm not mistaken. He used to look to the sideline. He'd pick up signals all the time. And that's during the game.
Right, but that's not having somebody filming them.
Right. I agree that the filming part and selling it is the part where I'm like, no, that's wrong. But to me,
didn't Belichick get in trouble for that?
Belichick, they got in trouble for filming other teams' practices. Yeah, that's what they got in trouble for, filming other teams' practices. Which doesn't make any sense to me because the games are televised and they're recorded. You should just be able to watch the game back and see what they do in certain situations.
Right, but it's that's the thing, right? It's kind of like in football, college football as well. You're not going to show all your best plays.
No, No, I agree.
against a non-conference team or a non-division NFL non-divisional team, but you're going to run them in practice. So whenever you do it in a game,
They're
it's perfect.
clockwork. They're clockwork, right? No, I agree.
So I mean,
I agree.
I just thought it was a hot piece of news. It's being investigated. This guy's he's going to go under trial for this. Or I don't know about trial, but at least the
We'll see. Yeah,
NCAA will be
NCAA was
investigating.
going to step in. Here's the thing: if you can do it, I'll be honest. When it comes to college football, when it comes to college sports in general, I think they let people do whatever the hell they want to until you start affecting the NCAA's pocketbook. Once you start doing that, that's when they have a problem. And not having a certain team win and affecting the ratings that would be in a playoff game, that's affecting the NCAA's pocketbook. And that's why they're going to step in. They're going to do something. Not having the best matchup for ratings wise hurts them. It might still be a good game, but you can't say that, like, hey, if we can have a rivalry in one of these playoff games, like a Tennessee, Michigan, or whatever it is. Obviously, that's them losing money. They're still going to make money, but they wouldn't have made as much.
Right. True.
And that's where I think that's why I think they're going to step in and they're going to bring the hammer down on this kid. Now, are they saying that Jim knew anything about this?
I'm sure he knew about it. He had to have
Right.
known about it. Now, I just saw this like 30 minutes before we started the podcast, so I just wanted to get your initial take. I'll do some more investigation, and we'll talk about it on a
Sounds
future
good.
episode.
Yeah, but say I guarantee it's not over, right? It's not over. That's for sure.
No.
All right.
No,
Well,
and shout out to Jack Mack, the only
Oh,
one
yeah,
on
yeah.
Unnecessary Roughness that makes sense.
yeah, I'll be honest with you. I watched that show a couple times, and I'm like, dude, this guy's carrying. This guy's carrying so hard.
You just don't like Big Cat.
I don't. Well, no, I don't mind Big Cat. I just feel like he's over the last few years he's kind of changed, and situations he would have spoke on or would have said things. Now he asks questions. Have you ever noticed that he used to be the one with opinions, and now he's the one that asks questions to try to get other people to say some shitty ass opinions. That's what I've noticed when it comes to Big Cat. But transitioning, Week 8 NFL football, trade deadline coming up. That's a few things we got to talk about. We got a couple games, Ravens, Cardinals, which I don't think any of us think is going to be that big of a matchup, especially because Kyler Murray doubtful to play in it. But there's a few other games that could pique your interest. Jaguars, Steelers. I'll be honest, Steelers. I think a lot of people have been down on them, wondering how in the world they're 5-2, how in the world they've been a successful football team to this point. Sorry, 4-2. Maybe soon to be 5-2. They are playing in Pittsburgh. But the defense, I think you got to lean on that defense, and that's exactly the case. It's going to be a tale of can Trevor Lawrence and that Jaguars offense, which I believe, even though they played good, have not lived up to their full potential, take on that Steelers defense, which is still one of the top 5 defenses in football. You can never count them out.
No, you can't. You can never count them out. That is true. It's going to come down to which defense can bend but not break. And I know I say that on a weekly basis, but that's just the NFL in general.
That's the standard, right?
And it's just the way it's going to be and the way it always has been. But the Steelers, their offense still hasn't been clicking on all cylinders. Canada's still on the hot seat. Hell, he's on the hot throne. I saw on I bought college T-shirts for me and my wife again today, and I saw in the NFL section trending on their front page was a Fire Matt Canada T-shirt. So they're making T-shirts now. I almost bought one. I'm not even a Steelers fan.
When your offensive coordinator is so bad that chance to fire him boil over to other sports, that's how you know it's gotten to a point.
Which sport was that?
Hockey. The Penguins game. The Pittsburgh Penguins game, you could hear them chanting Fire Matt Canada in the stadium during the Penguins game. It's got nothing to do with the Steelers, right? Except for they're from Pittsburgh. That's how you know, though, that you're on the hot seat, is when people are calling for your firing. No matter, they're just reminded of sports in general, and they're like, we want your ass gone.
Yeah.
But for the Jaguars, I mean, Trevor Lawrence has played good. What I've been surprised at is how the connection, like Week 1 connection between him and Ridley, was electric. It was phenomenal. Those two hooked up time and time again, like a couple of co-eds at a swap meet.
Right, it's died off.
It's died off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really died off. Don't get me wrong, he's got other weapons, right? He's got Ingram, he's got NTN, he's got Christian Kirk. He's got Zay Jones. He's got other guys, but I'll be honest, it was just surprised me that Calvin Ridley, even after a year off, week one looked like he had never missed a beat. And it was like, okay, this was going to be the next best connection. This was going to be up there with like Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs type connection. That's what it looked like. And then it just kind of fizzled out. I wonder if when we're going to see that connection again, or is it just going to take the back seat to the rest of these guys? That's. I think that they need that connection to flourish to
And I
make a
think
run.
we're seeing a lot of those connections around the league with multiple teams. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Who else? I was just thinking about it the other day. But a lot of number one. Oh, Terry McLaurin, Sam Howell.
Yeah,
They're just not throwing it to their number
they're
one
not there.
receiver. And I mean, I get they're double covered, but you just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just now coming back to the NFL this season. If it's always been like that, but you've got to make some of those throws, man. They're your number one receiver for a reason.
I think it's just a generation of quarterbacks. I really do, because you look at like when Devontae Adams with his Aaron Rodgers, even last year with Derek Carr. Carr and Rodgers said, "Hey, even when he's covered, Devontae Adams has a chance to not."
There's a difference.
Right, and
There's a difference.
there's a
There,
guy. Those guys have elite talent. Give them chances. That's all I'm saying.
one of them.
Yeah, I
One
like.
of 'em.
I think
I mean,
he's one
Aaron
of those
Rodgers,
guys.
at least Aaron Rodgers gets it into an area where the receiver has an option to catch the ball. Derek
True.
Carr will throw it 10 yards out of bounds and then cuss out his wide receiver why he stopped running the route.
That's true.
So
That
these
just happened.
quarterbacks are not the same.
No, I agree. I feel like that maybe it's an older generation that it's more willing to try to make big plays with their number one receiver instead of worrying about that tally in the interception column if it happens to get picked off. That's really all I meant by that. The younger quarterbacks seem to prefer the checkdowns and the drag routes over the shots down the sideline.
Well, I'm sorry I went off on a tangent, but anytime I have the opportunity to talk shit about Derek Carr and his shitty performances, I'm going to take that opportunity.
Yeah, he has it. That's just not the good fit. I'll be honest. Derek Carr in New Orleans, I know that's off topic, but it's just not a good fit. I didn't think it was going to be a good fit. I thought, maybe, but it just had proven to be a shit show, in all honesty. And Garoppolo replacing him in Vegas has been a shit show.
I think this
honestly.
game is going to be a lot closer than we anticipate, Justin.
Jags
The
Steelers?
Jaguars and the Steelers. Yeah, I'm looking over some of this. I mean, I know it's not, you can't look at just the box score or the stats,
True.
but points per game, Jags are winning that column 24.7 to the Steelers 17.2.
That shouldn't
Right?
surprise you as
Because
much as
Matt
Steelers
Canada's dog shit.
Right.
Yards per game, the Jaguars are getting about 336. The Steelers 273. And the Jags defense is slightly better. Like we said, it's going to come down to defense. Jags have allowed on average 20.9 points per game. The Steelers have allowed 21.2 points per game.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm still going to take the Jaguars.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I know that I want the Jaguars to win. Right. I'm a Ravens fan. I'm biased, but I know in my heart of hearts, at home in Pittsburgh, I think the Steelers pull it out. I think the Steelers defense does enough to pull it out, and I just think that's been the tale as old as time this season for the Steelers, and until it stops being the case, that's where I got to go. I think the Steelers do enough defensively to allow Kenny Pickett and Harris just to be mediocre again, and they get the win. That's why I'm taking the Steelers.
Yeah, no,
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
At least you're being unbiased finally for
for the first time.
Yeah,
you've been tweeting me about that, so I figured I'd try it for the first time.
Now, yeah, we're pulling for the Jags.
Pulling for the Jags, but I do think the Steelers are good.
We'll see how that goes. You know, the last time we had this conversation and we were arguing about teams, I was right. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills and the Buccaneers last night. Son of a bitch. What's going on? Talk to me.
The Bills needed that win more than the Bucs did, right? The Bills have a chance here to, we all crowned them as one of the top 3 teams in the AFC heading into the year. We said the only thing they needed was a running game, and James Cook has come on heavy. He's come on hard. He's fixed that issue. I tell you what, if you are a fantasy football owner and you had Dawson Knox and Kincaid is available in your league, pick that kid up, because Josh Allen has proven he's going there time and time and time again. The defense is looking good. However, I think we have to give a little bit more credit to the Bucs week in and week out. They're a team that no one talks about, and I think it's because of Baker Mayfield no one talks about them. but they held on. I mean, they were a Hail Mary away, and a lot of people were bitching and moaning at Godwin for fucking not knowing where the ball was, and he should have caught it.
Let's be honest. Nobody in that fucking end zone knew where that ball was.
No.
And Godwin was the only one when he looked up at the last second.
Yeah.
Nobody
was
was
flying by his head
was,
as he looked up.
That was shitty on the defensive part, and that was shitty on the offensive side. That Hail Mary was just a shit show.
Most Hail Marys
4
are.
seconds. 4 seconds. But at least you're paying attention. They were already down there.
Yeah.
And nobody looked up.
Baker got it there.
There was a whole bunch of pass interference going on.
Yeah, but you know what? You can't. I mean, you know what? I say this a lot. I'm gonna stick to my guns, even though it would have been nice to see that game go into overtime. The game should never be decided by the whistle of the referee. Too many games are decided late by the whistle of the referee, so I'm okay with them not calling it there. I'm okay with it, in all honesty. I just feel like sometimes you just gotta let players be players. It's a jump ball. Everybody has a right to it. I understand people are getting drugged to the ground and then all kinds of shit, but I'm okay with them not calling in that situation. Let the game play out the way it's supposed to be.
100%.
Yep.
I just want to give a shout out to Kincaid, man. Rookie, stepping it up
Phenomenal.
since Knox is having wrist surgery. Stepped it up. Had a great game as his first start as a tight end.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing is I felt like they used him more in that game plan than they used Knox on a week in, week basis. You know what I mean?
Oh, and they did. And they threw to pretty much everybody. Now, they did throw to Stephon Diggs, but not as much as he was wanting. He was getting frustrated. I could tell that in the game.
Yeah.
But
But
Gabe
you know what?
Davis,
Sometimes
touchdown. Knox, touchdown. Oh, not
Yeah.
Knox, Kincaid. And
Hey.
Josh Allen had a running touchdown.
if you're going to draft a guy in the first round, you use him. And that's what they did with Kincaid. They drafted him in the first round. You know, tight ends normally don't go in the first round, so to use a first round pick on him, you must have some faith in him. I think that Dawson Knox's numbers are coming to an end in Buffalo. I think Kincaid's going to be the guy moving forward for that team. I'm not saying necessarily this year, but I think Knox. I think this might be the last year of his contract. If it is,
I'm going to be
trying
honest.
to find another home.
100%. I did pick up Kincaid as a tight end, but right before the game started, I did not play him. Lost out on 17 points. I don't think Ingram's going to pick that up for me, but I'm going to be honest. Kincaid might be on my keeper. I'm in a keeper league. He's on the radar. He's not. I'm not 100%.
You haven't decided, but he's a potential candidate. I get it.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's either him or Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison. One of those three.
Those are all three solid options. All three solid options. All right, let's pivot here.
Okay.
Let's talk about Saints Colts. And the reason we're going to talk about Saints Colts is, as Killa pointed out, Chris Olave arrested this week. He even told the cop, "Man, I play for the Saints." And you know what the cop said, BV?
So
Exactly what he said. He said, "And like, dude was going double the speed limit. I'm pretty sure." And
no, he was doing. He did 75 and a 35.
That's even worse. That's over double. That's even worse. This isn't. This isn't the early.
Out.
Yeah, well, of course he got bailed out. I mean, like he murdered somebody, but you would think. I mean, this isn't the early 2000s, right? Where if you were famous, you got off with everything. That was like a thing that happened all the time. After Henry Ruggs, you would have figured these guys would be like, maybe I shouldn't be driving fucking 70 something in a 35. In fact, if I had that much money, I wouldn't be driving. If we're just being honest, you know what I mean? For him to just be like, "Oh, I play for the Saints, man." No one gives a shit. Let's just be honest. No one gives a shit. He's going to get suspended. It hasn't happened yet, but he's going to get suspended. The NFL does not care. It's a bad look for them to just let him go unpunished. It hasn't happened yet, but he's going to get suspended. I'm telling you right now. It might be 2 games, and he'll appeal it, and then they'll play him, but then they'll reduce it to 1 or whatever it is. We've done this song and dance a ton of times. But if guys like Calvin Ridley get suspended because they're gambling on games while they're injured, then he needs to get suspended for driving over double the speed limit. That's simple.
Agreed.
As far as this game goes, I'll tell you what, Saints are at a crossroads. Saints are in trouble. Colts have an excuse in this one, right? They're without their guy in Andrew Richardson, who's out for the year. But if you're Derek Carr, where else are you going to go? This is kind of like his chance. I don't know too many other teams, unless he's going to go back to Vegas, that either A, don't have their franchise quarterback, or B, don't have a kid young enough that they still believe can be their franchise quarterback, are available. There's not that many out there. So for Derek Carr, he's got to make this work. And to kill his point, the Saints are ass. They are. They're not well coached. The only bright spot on that team so far has been Alvin Kamara, who's just been a check down machine, which another case of Derek Carr not wanting to stretch the field for whatever reason. But honestly, I got the Colts winning this one at home. I think Minshew played a phenomenal game despite the fumbles, and they kind of got screwed out of that game as well. Another game that came down to the whistle. So that's why I'm going to take the Colts. I really am.
And I'm right there with you. I'm taking the Colts as well. And here's why. Derek Carr is a humongous, illustrious piece of shit. You can't throw the damn ball 10 yards out of bounds and then cuss out your wide receivers on national television as if it was their fault. And it's not like he did it one time, Justin. It's not like he did it one time. He did it on multiple occasions in a single game. And that you can't do that as a quarterback. You're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be bringing guys up, not bringing them down. And that's why I'm taking the Colts. Gardner Minshew and that mustache are going to fucking drag ass all over the Saints on Sunday. It's not even going to be, well, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it's not even going to be close.
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew will throw a pick, but I think it's not even going to matter. I'm sorry, Killa. It's just your quarterback is ass. He's not,
I think it's time.
He's not good.
And I think it's time fantasy-wise. Fade him. Fade Zach Moss. It's done. The Zach Moss, it's done. It's done. Fade him. Start moving on. Jonathan Taylor's back. Jonathan Taylor's proven he's back. He's going to start getting the volume. They want to win. Zach Moss, it's been
What's wrong with Zach Moss?
He's not getting the workload that he was. Jonathan Taylor's getting more and more and more and more of it. He's going to get back to being a guy who's a bell cow. I just see it. I'm sorry. You want to hold him to Zach Moss in hope? No. I don't think you missed anything on chat. I just feel like Jonathan Taylor's back and ready to fucking fuck shit up.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But, I mean, so was David Montgomery.
David Montgomery?
David Montgomery. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but there's a difference there, right? Gibbs wasn't a proven guy. Jonathan Taylor's a guy who was a all-time leading rusher in the NFL. That's the huge difference. I mean,
I'm talking about Zach Moss.
Yeah, well, okay. Was that? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Zach Moss has been nothing. He had a few good weeks, but Jonathan Taylor's back. So what's the point of holding on to Zach Moss? He's also questionable to play. He only had, 6-7 points last week?
Are you talking about fantasy? I'm confused. Are you talking
about
fantasy?
I'm talking about fantasy here.
Well, you got to say that, dude. I'm talking
My bad, dude. I'm talking about fantasy.
It's like you were trading him in the actual league, bro. Zach Moss a rookie?
No, he's been here in the league for 3 years. He used to play for Buffalo. Okay. But, homeboy's back. Jonathan Taylor's back. Fantasy-wise?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Zach Moss, the trade window in fantasy world, it's closed for Zach Moss. Nobody's picking up Zach Moss.
Yeah, it's done. Yep. Like I said, you had 2 ways to go about it, right? You could have let it ride until it fizzled out, or you could have tried to sell them high. A lot of people kept them from the numbers.
Let's talk about this.
Okay.
Let's talk about this since we're talking about trades.
Okay.
There's talks about Adam Thielen getting traded from the Carolina Panthers.
Adam Thielen, would love to see him traded. Phenomenal wide receiver, great hands, good solid route runner. He's going to help you if you need a guy you need to go to him on third down. He's going to make.
He's a little bit older now.
He is, and that's why you're trading for him, and you're kind of letting that contract ride out, and then he gets to go on his merry way and probably retire. But for a team that needs a wide receiver, that needs a sure-handed third down guy, that's the only team I would be hitting up right now. I'd be hitting them up. You're going to get them at a discounted cost because they're trying to build something. They thought they could kickstart it with surrounding Bryce Young with all this talented, wide receivers and stuff. Hasn't worked out. Bryce Young has looked to be the worst of the rookie quarterbacks that have played so far.
Shout out C.J. Stroud.
Dude, C.J. Stroud's been phenomenal. Anthony Richardson looked good until the kid couldn't learn how to slide. But other than that, like I said, if I'm a team that needs a guy who's a short-handed guy, there's only 2 teams I'm calling, right? I'm calling Carolina and Adam Thielen, and I'm calling the Titans and about DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins, that's a great. We just watched a video right before the stream. They addressed it in the locker room. He never really gave a solid answer. He said, I'm going to worry about my job. You worry about your job, to the reporter. But, I mean, the Titans are struggling. There's already talks about Derrick Henry getting traded. They should probably trade him as well because he hasn't been producing much, but that's probably because they haven't been throwing it to him.
Yeah, I say this that the talks on Derrick Henry, from last I've heard, are it's extremely most likely. It's becoming more and more likely every day he's going to be a Baltimore Raven.
Yeah,
That's
and you
what I'm
should be
hearing.
excited about that, right?
I'm cool with it. I mean, like I said, they don't have a running back right now that I say, how dare they try to replace so and so, right? Like Gus Edwards has been
You're
okay,
okay
but
with
he
it.
hasn't been. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Let me tell you something. No, Justin. You should be ecstatic about it. And let me tell you why. You
Yeah,
have damn near an elite quarterback, Lamar
damn,
Jackson, and
damn
that's
near.
damn near elite. And
Okay,
look, man, he hasn't won a Super Bowl. You can't call him elite.
won an MVP.
Okay, that's an MVP.
Okay, that
I
counts
get
for
it. That's like
something.
that's
That counts for something.
it counts for something. But I
Okay,
mean, will the MVP alone get you to the Hall of Fame?
no, no.
All right,
I agree.
all right then. So he's on the borderline. And I
Okay,
think this year might be the Baltimore Ravens' year to win a fucking Super Bowl. If they can snag Derrick Henry, you have a damn good running back, a damn good quarterback, a damn good tight end, and a solid receiving core, and your defense is stout.
okay.
This
That's I
team
mean,
could
plus
compete
the
with the
best,
best in the league right now.
plus the best kicker in football.
And the best kicker. I'm sorry, Justin Tucker. I forgot about that. I'm sorry. But yeah,
Yeah, gotta give him some
you
love.
have a solid overall team. You pick up Derrick Henry, you just
I
turn
just,
yourself into a
I don't
perfect
want to be.
sphere and you're rolling downhill
I
from there.
don't want to be pessimistic. Okay, right?
Oh yeah, because
But
it's your favorite team. Yeah.
I don't want to be pessimistic. But all I'm going to say is, I just get leery about teams that have been in one system their entire life and then have to adjust on the fly to another system. Because if the Ravens trade for Derrick Henry, it's only for the rest of that year. They're not going to sign him. That's not going to happen. They don't spend money like that on running backs. They got J.K. Dobbins who's going to come back after the injury, whatever their case is, right? He's going to have to learn a whole new system on the fly, and that's the only thing I'm worried about. Now, I'll say it's a lot easier to learn that system at running back than is at a wide receiver, quarterback, or one of the other things. So he can do it. I just
Right.
want to see it before I get like overly excited.
Right. But
I want to see it.
think about this.
The
They haven't
potential is
announced
phenomenal.
anything. They haven't announced anything, Justin. They haven't said who they were trading for. And even if they trade one of the running backs, a 1-for-1 swap, or if they're doing trade picks, which I'm sure the Tennessee Titans would
I'm
prefer,
sure there's going to be at least a fourth
you
involved.
still even at the worst case scenario,
Yeah.
if they trade one of the running backs with draft picks, you're either going to have Gus Edwards or Justice Hill. You're not going to be without one of the running backs who've been
Who's
running for the
comfortable in the
Ravens.
system? That's a good point. That's a good point. Now, if your team, would you rather have Derrick Henry or DeAndre Hopkins? For example,
Ravens or just a team?
the other team that's been brought up a lot are the Cowboys. Okay, that's the other team that's been brought up a lot about Derrick Henry, but they've also been brought up about DeAndre Hopkins. If you're the Cowboys, would you rather have Derrick Henry or would you rather have DeAndre Hopkins?
Let me ask this.
Pollard hasn't been that good.
Yeah, but how long is his contract?
Henry, I think, is the last year of his deal.
No.
DeAndre Hopkins
Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard, I think he just signed a deal, but he hasn't.
No,
been
I'm not
good.
getting him. No.
Okay.
I've got CD. They got CD Lamb.
But that's the thing. All they seem to have is CeeDee Lamb. Brandon Cooks hasn't looked good. Michael Gallup hasn't been heard of. They're a team that's always in a win now mode. NFC is the weakest it's ever been. I think either way they can't lose. In my opinion, they can't lose because if you get Hopkins, it helps CeeDee Lamb. And I think Pollard's proven to be one of the best number 2 backs in football.
Oh well, if I'm picking, Hopkins would go to the Cowboys. Derrick Henry would go to the Ravens.
You think that's the best? That's the best fit for both of them.
The Cowboys, they have no need to pick up. I mean, Tony Pollard hasn't looked that great in the recent weeks.
Yeah,
but I mean, you just signed him to a
still
contract.
Not ready. You're still not ready to give up on him as your number 1 guy. That's what you're saying,
right? And you know how Jerry Jones is.
That's
Man
true.
set in his ways. He won't get rid of Dak, and Dak is not the answer for that.
Oh, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't think Dak's good at all. All right, so we've talked about the Colts, Saints. We talked about Ravens, Cardinals. Another game that I think people are kind of overlooking in this one: Bengals, Niners. Niners reeling a little bit, right? They need to make that statement. Bengals starting to get a little healthier. Joe Burrow says his calf's feeling better and better every day. T. Higgins coming back from injury. That team has a chance to start to light the fire. They're not out of anything yet in the AFC North or in the AFC period. And for the Niners, Brock Purdy is supposed to, I think he's in concussion protocol, but they're saying he could pass the test just in time to play Sunday. Who knows? If not, it'd be Sam Darnold starting for the Niners. What are your thoughts on this one, BV?
It's a tough one. Look, I'm not saying Debo Samuel,
Out.
and they've lost the last 2 games he hasn't played in.
Yeah, he's a
Christian,
big part of that
Christian
offense.
McCaffrey is just a damn paper mache swan. The dude is very injury prone. It's not looking good. And that's because, I mean, who else you got? George Kittle, and you barely throw to his ass. The man has 3 touchdowns, and it came in 1 game.
One game.
And I'm guessing, and I'm going to go ahead and make an educated guess that he probably had the majority of his targets this season in that game.
It was like, he only had 3. He only had 3 catches, all 3 for touchdowns in that game.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I mean,
They don't like. I think we were watching that game. Was that a Monday night game
I think so.
or a Sunday night game? Either way. And on the last play where Brock Purdy throws the interception, me and you said the same thing. Kittle was blocking. Kittle
that's
was
exactly
blocking on that play.
We were watching.
And we're like,
yeah, why was he blocking?
Why?
It came down
Why?
to the end of the game. That's right. It came to the end of the game.
It wasn't a Hail Mary.
Mm.
Debo's out.
They
You're
should
already
not.
missing weapons. Use them.
What is George Kittle known for? Blocking or fucking catching the ball?
Catching the football. He's great at both, but I mean, in that position, when you're already out Debo Samuel, you need him out there. You need him out there passing, catching passes.
Right.
That's simple. And it's
that was bad coaching.
I agree. And you know what? We don't say that a whole lot about Kyle Shanahan because he doesn't make too many mistakes like that. But that one was a mistake, in my opinion. Just was.
But I think this week I'm not taking the system quarterback. Don't give me Brock Purdy. Give me Joe Breezy.
Okay.
I'm taking the Bengals. I think, if he's as close to 100%, him and Jamar Chase made a statement, and they're throwing the damn ball to him.
That's true.
Their running back's Joe Mixon.
Yeah,
Joe Mixon.
Yep.
I haven't really watched that much of the Bengals. I'll change that this weekend, but I'm taking the Bengals. I just think without Debo Samuel, he just doesn't have enough targets, and it's easier to shut them down. It just is what it is. Brock Purdy's nothing special. He's a system quarterback.
That's fair. I mean, that's a fair statement, right? That's a fair statement to make. I'm taking San Francisco. 2 reasons. 1, they're at home. It's hard to play on the road. And 2, it's a case where I think they have the best defense next to maybe the Browns in football. They have an amazing pass rush. They get after the quarterback. And the Bengals offensive line has done nothing to impress me over the last 3 years. And it's the whole reason Joe Burrow got hurt a few years ago. It's because the offensive line was constantly letting him get hit. I think Bosa and them are going to get after him pretty quickly. Their corners have done enough because of an elite pass rush. They play the ball very well. They don't have to cover for that long. Now, I do think that, Jamar Chase is going to get his in this game. I think there's going to be a case where Joe just throws one up maybe, and Jamar Chase just burns everybody for a touchdown. But all in all, I think that McCaffrey, toting the rock. If Sam Darnold plays, I'm interested to see how he does. But we're talking about Kyle Shanahan as the quarterback whisperer, and we're referring to Brock Purdy as a system quarterback. Why would it be any different with Sam Darnold back in there? You know what I mean? I mean, if that's the route we're taking, then that shouldn't matter. Who the quarterback is should be the least of anybody's, examples of why this team should win and why that team should win. So I'm going to take San Francisco. I think they get it done in a close one. But I think that this is going to be the springboard. I think the Bengals are going to play good in this game. It's going to be the springboard that carries them to a potential playoff berth late in the season. As much as I hate to say that, I think this is going to be the one.
Let's scroll down and talk about one more game.
Sure. What we got? Lay it on me.
Let's talk about the Seahawks and Browns. Pretty good matchup.
Yeah.
Both
Solid
haven't really
defense.
done that great. Both have got winning records right now.
Yep.
One will go to 5-2. The other will go to 4-3. What are your thoughts? I mean, the stat lines are pretty even across the board. The only difference is Browns have a better defense statistically right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, in my opinion, they're not the number one defense anymore. As many points as they give against the Colts, right? That thing was, they gave it 30-something points against the Colts. But they have a good running game. Kareem Hunt, healthy. He's starting to get into the mix a little bit more.
And Jerome Ford.
Jerome Ford.
Jerome
PJ
Ford was at a
Walker.
full practice, full everything. He looked good, and he said that.
Yeah.
Well, he said that he would be ready to go. As
Okay.
what the coach says, might be a different story, but it might be.
I think
we might have Jerome
coaches
Ford and Kareem Hunt in this game.
coaches like to play their cards a little closer to the chest, in my opinion, just so teams aren't preparing for the right people, things of that nature. So I think Jerome Ford will play. Browns have a great pass rush. Even if you think nothing else about the rest of that team, Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, solid pass rush, without a doubt. Problem here is going to be, can PJ Walker keep the magic going? Deshaun Watson already ruled out. You know what I mean? He's already been ruled out. It's another week without the quarterback that you paid all this money to, ruled out. Okay, so in my opinion, I think I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks, and it's just because PJ Walker is going to walk into Seattle and he's going to realize why they call it the 12th man. That is a loud stadium to play in. It's tough to play on the road. We're talking about a kid who has played good. I like PJ Walker. I think he deserves a shot on another team. They're not going to give it to him in Cleveland because of all the money they're paying Watson. But I think that Seattle's the healthier team. And Seattle's the healthier team. They're at home. I got Seattle taking it. Winning a close one against the Browns. How about you, Beef?
Give me 1 sec. I'm looking something up before I speak.
Okay.
It was Brady Quinn on Twitter and Deshaun Watson.
Oh, I saw the press conference where they say, "Oh, what do you think? I don't want to play." Deshaun Watson bitching and moaning like, "Why would I want to play?" Yada yada yada.
Right.
But you know what? I'm sorry. The dude's been hurt more than he's been on the field this year, and you have to. I mean, it's only natural to question his commitment to the game of football. It really is. The Deshaun Watson from Houston does not exist anymore. That's not the same guy. He's not getting yanked off in massage parlors and hotel rooms anymore. He's not the same guy.
I'm gonna break down this Twitter real quick. All right.
All right, give it to me. Lay it on me.
They quoted Brady Quinn in Fox Sports Radio. Everyone with a medical opinion has cleared Deshaun Watson. The situation almost similar to a kid getting a $230 million trust fund. You ask them to get a job and they have no incentive to do it. And Deshaun Watson's quarterback coach stepped in on Twitter and said, "Brady, I'm going to be real. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about and sit behind a microphone gossiping like a little high school chick." Brady Quinn responded back with, "Come talk to me anytime in person, open invitation." Quincy Avery, the quarterback coach or trainer, sorry. "I just seen you Saturday. I don't have anything I want to talk to you about. I'm telling you, you are talking about things you don't know, talking on another man who doesn't know is weak." Brady Quinn responded with, "LOL. Well, I didn't see you." Quincy responded with, "Point being?" ? And Brady Quinn responded for the final time and said, "How about we massage this conversation and get it to a happy ending? Does that sound satisfactory?" If that isn't
that's a mic drop.
If that isn't worthy of going to the NFL Hall of Fame on just that response on Twitter alone,
you don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. I love Brady Quinn for that. That was great.
Look, you don't have to. This is I hate when people make this comparison of arguments. Right? Well, you don't know the guy. That doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It matters how it looks, and that's exactly the way it looks. It looks like he's gotten his money. He's tired of getting the shit kicked out of him, so he doesn't want to be on the field. He doesn't have to play. Exactly. He got $230.
A spade.
Right.
A spade
it's okay.
is a spade.
I don't have to know you to know you're acting like a piece of shit. It's that simple. I don't have to know you. If anything, knowing you makes my opinion biased towards you. You know what I mean? Oh, well, he's a really likable guy, so that's not the case. Well, maybe that's not the way to look at it. Maybe people from the outside in have the real perspective of it and say, hey, maybe he's not a piece of shit, but he sure as hell acting like one. And that's what the situation looks like. And that's all Brady Quinn was saying. You know, that's all Brady Quinn was saying. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. And I said it, I've been saying it for a few weeks now. It's just the way it looks. Whether it's true or not, it's just the way it looks.
Deshaun, you've got to get out of Cleveland. It's not a fit for you. If you don't want to be there, they don't want you there.
Just retire, dude. If you don't want to play football, just retire. You got the guaranteed money. Just walk away.
Just walk away. I'd like to see them pick up a rookie quarterback. Nothing against the current quarterback they have. What is it, PJ Walker?
PJ Walker, yeah.
Nothing against him, but I mean, he's holding his own right now. But they have to find a franchise
They
solid
need a guy who's
quarterback.
yeah, I agree. And this is the
And I
draft class to
think,
do it.
man, if they keep going on with this record, man, I don't know if they'll have a high enough draft pick, but I'd like to see Michael Penix Jr. at the Cleveland Browns. I think he's would be
Well,
a good
everyone's
fit.
saying Penix is probably going top 10. That's what everybody's saying. He's probably going top 10. They keep losing. They'll be
Cleveland
there.
might fuck himself. Well, they're 4-2. They haven't been losing.
That's true. And what losses are two? Oh, yeah. My boys.
Oh my god!
They spanked that ass. Spank that ass.
Oh my god!
Well, as always, we appreciate you guys for stopping by. We're back again on Tuesday. You still want to do Tuesday, BP? Even though it's Halloween.
I think our solid schedule for us would align with the NFL watching anyway. Would be Tuesdays and Fridays. So I think that's a solid schedule. We should probably stick to it as long as I don't have any military stuff going on. I think that's a solid schedule.
All right, sounds good. On that case, BJ, anything else you want to say to the viewers?
Roquan Smith, you're my fucking hero. All right, that's all I have to say.
All right, fellas.
I know that was out of left field.
I appreciate everybody stopping by, and while we're gone, try not to ruffle any feathers. I'll see you guys.